ขอบคุณน้องๆมากนะคะที่เข้ามาร่วมงานในวันนี้นะคะซึ่งเป็น virtual session นะคะของที่ Melbourne Law School นะคะเดี๋ยวพี่บีจะขอแนะนำนะคะคุณคุณอ่คุณลูอิสนะคะคัตเบิร์ตนะคะซึ่งมาจาก Law Faculty ของ University of Melbourne ค่ะ
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for having me here. My name is Louis Cuthbert. I'm the Student Recruitment Coordinator for the Melbourne Law School. And it's a pleasure to speak with you all today. I am also joined today by one of our current University of Melbourne Master of Law students who will talk to you a little bit about their experience in the program throughout the session today as well. So welcome everybody. As I mentioned, my name is Louis Cuthbert. I'm the Recruitment Coordinator for the Melbourne Law School, and I've been asked to present to you today around the Melbourne Law School and to give you an overview of the studying opportunities that are available within our faculty at the University of Melbourne. Here on your screen, you'll be seeing the Melbourne Law School. Okay, so this is where our students will be will learn, will get their education through the Melbourne Law School, and this here in the center of your screen makes up the University of Melbourne Parkville campus. Okay, so just diving deeper into the Melbourne Law School, the Melbourne Law School is the #1 law school in Australia, and we are currently the 10th ranked law school in the world according to the QS World Rankings, but it does vary from rankings to rankings. So for the Times Higher Education World Rankings, we are ranked 8th in the world. So the Melbourne Law School is one of the top law institutions in the world, and we do see some of the best and brightest students from all across the globe come to study law at the University of Melbourne. But what is the Melbourne Law School and what are our values? What do we value here at the Melbourne Law School? There's a few key pillars that we talk about for the Melbourne Law School. The first one is our place, which is on the Wurundjeri country, our community, which is each and all of us, the pursuit of knowledge, which is about having respectful conversations and understanding differences of opinions, but doing so in a professional way and respectful and courteous way. And also we work with each other, we're collaborative, so professionalism and ethics that make up our faculty. We also do have a very diverse student cohort, which is all about community and inclusion. As I mentioned, the University of Melbourne as a whole has a huge proportion of international students, and the Melbourne Law School is no different. But we do also have a very diverse student cohort as well. So we do have a community of students who are Indigenous, who identify as being Indigenous, students who have disabilities, and over 50% of our cohort identify as women as well. So in terms of the Melbourne Law School, it is a graduate school, and we do have two different course offerings that students can go on to study within the Melbourne Law School. The first is the Juris Doctor. So the JD, which is what we commonly refer to it at the University of Melbourne, is our graduate program that leads to admission to practice law across all Australian jurisdictions and can be used for a basis for seeking admission in some jurisdictions overseas. This is our structure of the program. So it's a 3-year degree that's undertaken full time, and it's made up of 24 subjects that's taken over 3 years, although it can be done in an accelerated way. But the way the course is structured, it's made up of 16 compulsory subjects that all students studying the Juris Doctor will undertake at the same time. And then you do have the option to sort of pick and choose from 8 elective subjects to make up your course, depending on what your area of interest is within the Melbourne Law School and what sort of career opportunities you're looking for. The Melbourne Juris Doctor only has one intake per year, which commences each year in February. So unlike a lot of other programs at the University of Melbourne, there is no mid-year intake available. So why would you study the Melbourne Juris Doctor? Why would you go and study a graduate law degree? The first one is that it's taught at a graduate level, which is obviously means it's a higher level qualification than maybe doing a Bachelor of Laws or going on to do another undergraduate degree in law. So being a higher level qualification, being a graduate level, the graduate students that are studying within the program bring a different level of maturity and intellectual skills to the classroom, which benefits everyone. It's also open to students from a whole diverse range of backgrounds. So as long as you've completed an undergraduate degree in any discipline, whether you're coming from a psychology background, a commerce background, a history background, you'll be eligible to go on to apply to study the Juris Doctor. So it does bring in a really diverse range of students, which is perfect because if you think about the role of a lawyer, it's to serve their community, and to have a diverse range of students from a whole range of different backgrounds is really, really important when going and sort of representing the community, which is what lawyers do. The other way that the JD is really beneficial is the way the course is structured and taught. So the JD is taught by expert teachers who are still involved very heavily in changing law trends, topical issues, and still often practice within their day lives. And the way the course is designed is all students who study the Juris Doctor, the first subject that you will do will be legal method reasoning, which is a 2-week intensive subject, which we commonly refer to as the law boot camp, which allows you to bond with your close-knit cohort to go on to do the Juris Doctor together. As I mentioned, the way the course is structured, you do have 16 core and compulsory subjects that make up your course, and then you do have 8 elective subjects to choose from, and we do have over 35 different JD elective subjects available. So whether you're interested more in taxation law, looking at negotiation, or health law, environmental law, commercial law, there's ways that you can structure your Juris Doctor depending on what your interests are. We also do have a number of internships available, and which are a fantastic way to experience law in action. So the University of Melbourne has got a number of different partnerships and organizations where students are placed in internships throughout their degree. But there's other ways that students can enhance their studies at the Melbourne Law School, and one of those is through international opportunities. So there's ways that you can combine your Juris Doctor degree at the University of Melbourne with a master's degree from another prestigious international university, where you can complete your degree in 3.5 years. So you can do a master's degree at, say, the University of Oxford alongside your Juris Doctor degree, which would obviously extend your degree, but you can walk away with both a Juris Doctor degree from the University of Melbourne and a master's degree from the University of Oxford, or the University of BC based in Canada. But there's also another way to sort of involve other international opportunities. So we have a whole range of different international subjects. So if you're interested in going on to do something like law and legal practice in Asia, which is often taught in Indonesia, which is a 1-month subject, there's ways you can do new technology law based in Singapore, or there's other ways to do Indigenous law across New Zealand and Australia. So there's a whole range of different ways to sort of get international experience as part of your program on top of studying already at the University of Melbourne. But students who go on to do the Juris Doctor don't always pursue a career within the legal sector. While a lot of students do go on to become lawyers in law firms, or barristers, go on to become judges, there are a whole range of other employment opportunities for students who go on to do the Juris Doctor outside of the legal sector. The Juris Doctor is one of Australia's most prestigious and highly sought after qualifications, and students can go on to find employment working in government roles, work as diplomats, working as consultants or policy advisors, policy analysts. So there's a whole range of different employment opportunities that are available to students who go on to complete the Juris Doctor. The other different opportunity for graduate study at the Melbourne Law School is undertaking a Melbourne Law Masters, or our LL.M. So our Melbourne Law Masters suite comprises of the Master of Laws. We then have some specialist master's degrees available. We have a whole suite of graduate diplomas, specialist certificates, as well as single subjects that students can choose from. So it is our flagship degree at the Melbourne Law School, and the Master of Laws it offers students with a really amazing opportunity to tailor the course depending on what their aspirations and personal interests are. So the Master of Laws can be taken as a one-year program where students can choose their subjects that make up their program from over 170 subject selections across a number of specialist legal areas. So this is a program that's available for those students who already hold a degree in law and are really looking to develop on their expertise, and it's designed for busy working professionals. So it's ideal for students who are wanting to enhance their careers by honing in their legal and research skills to become an absolute specialist in their area of interest or their area of expertise. So the way the course is structured for our LL.M is it's comprised of 100 credit points, which is 8 subjects. So of the 100 credit points that are available, students will be able to choose the subjects that they want to do. There is also a minor thesis option as well. So students are able to undertake a minor thesis as a pathway to go on to do a Doctor of Philosophy should they wish. And the subject format for the Master of Laws is most subjects are taught intensively over 5 days, where students have got an option of, working part-time and then doing their course and their subjects in an intensive manner. There are a number of different ways the subjects are taught. Some of our subjects are available online, some of them available on campus, some of them involve a mixture of both online and on campus, but more often than not, they do involve very interactive seminar-style classes, which are hosted at the Melbourne Law School, so the building that's on our Parkville campus. Of the areas of specialization that are available, so as I mentioned, there are a number of different specialization areas and over 170 different subjects that students can choose from. But if you are interested in any of these areas of specialization, there are ways that you can do a specialized degree. So if you have a keen interest in going on to do property law, construction law, corporate law, sports law, or going on to do commercial law, there's ways that you can tailor your Master of Laws program to do a specialized degree, focusing your subjects on that specialized area. So I'm just quickly going to touch on some of the enrichment experiences offered at the Melbourne Law School before I invite our current student just to come and speak with us as well. So for students who are doing a Master of Laws, again, similar to the Juris Doctor, there are opportunities within the program for internship opportunities for students to sort of enhance their work experience. We have a number of different organizations that students regularly seek placement opportunities with, but we do also have legal academic skills development training, which is specially designed for our law students. So in our legal academic skills center, we do host a series of workshops which cover fundamentals of legal research, writing, helping students who are maybe from a non-law background really get that sort of specialized knowledge to really help with their assignments and to help integrate them into the law school. There's a whole range of services that are available for students in terms of consultations. There's opportunities for students to sort of get academic guidance, to seek assistance with writing, which is really beneficial and really helps set students up for success, not just during their time during the university, but also as they go on to seek their professional lives as well. And then we do also have a number of different student clubs and societies that are run by students for students. So this is a really great way for students to get involved in the program, to get involved with other students who share similar interests that they do, but also to organize events, add these sort of things to your CV, and just to be involved within the Melbourne Law School and to meet other like-minded students as well. So that's it from me. I think that's given a bit of an overview about the Melbourne Law School. And I would like to now invite one of our current students to come and join me on camera. So we do have Jovanka Tobing, who is currently a Master of Commercial Law student at the Melbourne Law School, who is joining us at the University of Melbourne from Indonesia. So I would like to just now quickly allow Jovanka to introduce themselves and say hi.
Okay, thank you, Louis. Hello, everyone. My name is Jovanka. I'm currently a student at the Master of Law, specifically Master of Commercial Law, under the University of Melbourne, Melbourne Law School. I previously worked as a legal counsel, and as Louis mentioned before, I came from Indonesia. Thank you.
Fantastic. So I've got a couple of questions that I've prepared for you. So we might just start by some of those questions today, and then we might open it up to any questions from any of our participants that are joining us here on the Zoom. So my first question is, why did you decide to study at the University of Melbourne, and what's brought you here today?
Thank you, Louis. First and foremost, Melbourne Law School has been very popular among Indonesia legal practitioners. First is apart for the famous of its ranking and the professors, I particularly choose Melbourne Law School because of the diverse choose for courses. For example, if I go to other university, they only provide like one specific courses about corporate governance. But here, under the Melbourne Law Master's program, they have like 3 specific courses, particularly for corporate governance. So many ranges of courses, so many specifics, whether for Indonesia, we have so many courses that particularly focus on Asia. So yeah, that's one of the most reason. And like you said, Louis, the Melbourne Law Masters has so many extracurriculars and also have LAAC that truly helped me while working on my assignments. So one of the LAAC teams can check on my structure on my exams and really help me to navigate all of the assignments throughout my master's program.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's always wonderful to hear that our current students are utilizing these services that are available for you to really enhance your sort of, your experience studying, but also to sort of get the most out of your studies here and to set you up for success as well. My next question comes about the transition from coming from Indonesia across to Melbourne. How did you find that transition moving to Australia, and how have you settled into a life in Melbourne?
Oh, okay. It was a bit hard at first to navigate through things because if you're going to like a completely new realm, there might be challenges. But aside from moving far away from family, the Melbourne Law School team itself has like very helpful to me. For example, because I want to know about internship opportunities in Melbourne Law School, there is like a career service that I can connect to through Zoom online, so I can connect with them, and I've previously connect with them even before I came to Melbourne to just navigate things on what to do when I reach Melbourne. So yeah, that was very helpful in transitioning.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a fantastic response, and I'm glad to hear that your transition was smooth and that you sort of sought some assistance with that as well. So you've mentioned that you're studying a Master's of Commercial Law. Can you briefly just share some of the subjects that you've been studying within your course, and any subjects in particular that have stood out for you?
For the commercial classes, I've taken, for example, as I've mentioned before, corporate governance, director duties, and I've also taken courses on corporate law. But aside from that, one thing that I learned, what I also like about Melbourne is they also have courses regarding to enhance your soft skills. So I've also taken courses called the Management for Professionals and Business Negotiation in order to not only advance my practical knowledge, but also enhance my soft skills when I go back to Indonesia and then continue my practice as a legal counsel.
Yeah, fantastic. That's wonderful to hear. And I suppose that was going to one of my questions on which you've sort of already answered it. I think before we sort of open it up to the floor for any other questions that are coming through, I might just ask another question or two. I think for a lot of students, deciding to do graduate studies is quite a significant, commitment, both from a financial point of view and from a time point of view. And obviously, you're a little bit older, having completed an undergraduate degree. I suppose, how do you manage or how do you balance the study commitments with your personal commitments, whether that's social life, any part-time work or work you do? How do you manage, a balance between both?
Okay, to manage it, I think it's very important for you to prepare even before you're coming to Melbourne. For example, because for me especially, because the Melbourne Law School's electives have like a specific link that we can look at regarding the assessment, the date. I made an Excel beforehand regarding all of the classes that I want to choose to make sure that the schedules not overlap. So I can like get a decent time to rest and then like go for holidays apart from doing my studies. And while I'm doing my master's, I think it's very important whenever you're going through like an assessment or going through an exam, it's very important for me to make sure that each day I have a progress. So each and every day I have so this progress can help me to work on my schedules, but also spend a little time for rest and do things that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice. And I think that's something that's consistent with all of the advice that our current students do, is to make sure you have that balance and do something that does sort of make you happy as well. Which leads me to my next question, I suppose. Is there any other advice that you could give a potential law student that's considering coming to the University of Melbourne, who's maybe weighing up whether this is the course for them? Any advice you would give to them when you were maybe in their position when you were applying for the program?
My advice would be don't forget to have fun, because the course is only 1 year. There will be like so much valuable experiences and knowledge that I've gone through here, and I started in February and now it's December and time really passed so fast. So I think that participating and becoming a student in Melbourne Law School is a experience that I will never forget. Is truly valuable. And next year I'm coming back to Indonesia and I've packed so much new energy that I've brought here, and I really encourage you guys to enroll as well and have the same experience as me.
Fantastic. I think that's been fantastic answers. We might now just open it up to any questions that are coming through the Zoom. I can see my colleagues in the background answering a couple of them. So I can see there's a question coming through from April. Can Master of Law students opt for a more focused program by taking 8 subjects without taking the minor thesis subject? Yes. So students don't need to undertake a minor thesis if they don't wish. That's an option that students would have to do. So there's ways that you can structure your program to choose 8 elective subjects from a whole range of different discipline areas. Or there's ways that you could do a bit more of a specialized program, such as Jovanka's doing a Masters of Commercial Law or a Masters of Construction Law. So if you did have a particular area of interest that you wanted to do, you can focus on that, or you can structure your course to choose 8 subjects. So I hope that's answered your question, April. I can see there's another one from Nutty around how are credits earned from the study abroad at Oxford recognised and transferred to the University of Melbourne? This is a really good question. Say for the University of Oxford or the University of British Columbia, if a student's doing a Juris Doctor, students can pair their degree at the Melbourne Law School by undertaking a master's program at another institution that we have a partnership with. Typically, then those subjects are credited towards your Juris Doctor, where those, I think you receive about 4 subjects as credit. So it does push out your degree to 3.5 years. So you don't get full credit from the year that you do your master's, but there's ways that you can sort of take a break from your Juris Doctor, undertake a master's program at the University of Oxford or the University of British Columbia or such, and then partner that with your Juris Doctor degree from the University of Melbourne as well. But really, really good question. Are there any questions coming through the chat, or anyone would like to put any questions through to Jovanka to hear about her experiences at the Melbourne Law School or the subjects that she's done, or I suppose while we're waiting for any other questions to come through, what are your plans now when you head back to Indonesia? Have you organized your flights? When do you head home?
I'm planning to back home in February because my last
Yep.
date of assessment is in February. Yeah, I'm planning to continue my career as a legal counsel at a multinational company, and I'm going to take certification courses regarding to GRC, which is governance, risk management, and compliance. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And any future plans to return to Melbourne later down the line?
I mean, I hope so, especially for graduation. Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. Love to hear that. So doesn't seem like there's any other questions coming through the chat. So I might just finish off with just a few quick slides just to wrap up. So a huge thank you to you, Jovanka, for all of your amazing insights and for giving up time on your Friday evening to speak with us today. It was really, really insightful hearing about your transition to the University of Melbourne, why you decided to study at the Melbourne Law School, and hearing about your year. I think you've given really, really good advice, and you've given us plenty to think about. You are correct. It's a 1-year program and it does go by just like that. So it's all about making the most of your time on campus, really being involved and getting the most out of your studies as you can. So I did want to just say a huge thank you for joining us today, and I wish you the very best of luck with the rest of your assignments, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Louis. Have a
Louis,
great evening.
You're
Sorry,
welcome.
Louis, I'm being from Education for Life. I think some of the students have asked through me this question. What is the normal class hours of LL.M student?
That's a really, really great question. And so the contact hours one does vary from from subject to subject, because a lot of our Master of Laws subjects are taught and designed for busy working professionals. So as I mentioned during the presentation, a lot of the subjects are done in a 5 sort of day intensive period, but there are also opportunities for students to take classes in the evenings to accommodate a busy working schedule, because the Master of Laws does really cater for working professionals. So the contact hours is a really difficult one because it does vary depending on whether students are doing intensive based subjects or a subject that's taught over the course of a semester. But typically students can expect somewhere between about 10 to 12 contact hours a week on campus or online. But then on top of that, there's obviously independent study time that makes up time in their program as well.
And then the last class in the evening, what time is the last class in the evening?
I believe most last classes start at about 6:30 and run till about 8:30 p.m. I don't think we have many classes that go beyond 8:30 p.m. of the evening. Yeah.
Yes, and for LL.M students, can they? I see from the slide that they can choose area specialization, and if they pick some certain subjects, will there be a specialization in their degree parchment, or it will just be Master of Law?
Great question. So there are technically 2 different programs. So students will apply for, say, a Master of Commercial Law versus a Master of Laws. So it depends. So we do have a number of specialized degrees, but they are individual programs that are offered. So for students who are looking at just doing a Master of Laws, that's comprised of 8 subjects, and they can sort of pick and choose the subjects that they wish, but it won't be listed on their testament. Whereas the specialized law, Master of Laws programs, students can apply for that particular program if that's what they're wanting to study, and that would be the course they would graduate from. Fantastic. So I might just quickly before we wrap up, just talk a little bit about how students can apply for any of our programs. So the first thing to note is that applications are accepted throughout the year, and we do have applications submitted online. You do need to ensure to check the entry requirements to make sure that you are eligible for the course that you're applying for. And the majority of our programs within the law school do require students to provide both official and certified copies of your entire academic record, as well as your CV or your curriculum vitae, or possibly a resume as well. So the application processing time for the University of Melbourne, we do aim to have a response on your application within 6 to 8 weeks. And when we do receive applications, we do have a selection committee that considers your prior academic performance in your tertiary studies, the quality of the degree that you've studied, any relevant professional experience. So some of our Master of Laws programs do require professional experience as part of your application as well. Applications for the program. So for any students that are looking at applying, our start year intake for 2025 has unfortunately closed for international students. But if you are considering applying for our mid-year intake to the Melbourne Law School for 2025, applications are open now and will be closing on the 31st of January. So just ensure that you do submit your application in a timely manner, as we will be unable to accept any late applications. But that's it from me. I wanted to say a massive thank you for inviting me to speak with you today and for all of your wonderful attention. I hope that's given you an insight to the Melbourne Law School and helped answer all of your questions. I'm more than happy to stay on the Zoom for a moment to help answer any last queries that anyone might have, or anything further that I could help with.
Louis, just one question about the partnership with the top university. So it's only for Juris Doctor, right? For LL.M.
That's correct. It's just for the Juris Doctor. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Fantastic. I just wanted to say a massive thank you. And I also would like to say a thank you to my colleague Simon, who's been busy in the background answering some of the questions. So thank you very much to Simon. I wish you all the very best with your future studies. I hope to see you submit your application for the Melbourne Law School. If you have any further questions, please get in contact with us. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Friday and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, Louis. We really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much, everybody.
สำหรับนักเรียนนะคะที่สนใจนะคะศึกษาต่อกับที่ University of Melbourne Law School นะคะสามารถติดต่อที่พี่บีได้นะคะที่ Education for Life นะคะถ้านักเรียนสนใจนะคะสามารถส่งใบสมัครได้เลยค่ะขอบคุณมากนะคะที่มาร่วมงานกับเราในวันนี้ที่มาฟังMelbourne Law School Presentation นะคะ